Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, get the nuts and bolts of Phoenix's 35-year transportation plan. We'll take a look at some photos from a new book that features 100 years of Arizona at work. And we'll check out the new digs for a local art gallery that's known all around the world. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Christina Estes in for Ted Simons. The Phoenix City Council has given the green light for a 35-year transportation plan that would cost more than $30 billion. But their green light only goes so far. It will be up to voters to approve a tax that would expand light rail and bus service and cover road improvements. Here to tell us more about the plan is Marty Schultz, Vice Chair of the Citizens Committee on the Future of Phoenix Transportation. That's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful.
You had a big job, so thank you for coming in here. We appreciate it. Before we talk about the future and this potential tax that voters will probably address on August, can we talk about the current situation when it comes to what's referred to as Transit 2000? Yes. So we already have in Phoenix a tax that deals with transit or transportation issues. How much is that, and when does that run out?
Okay, so in 2000, in the year 2000, turn of the century, if you will, the voters in Phoenix approved a 0.4 cent tax, and that was designed to build the current transportation system, specifically light rail, expand the bus system, and do some street improvements. And that's coming along, even though there has been a shortfall because of the Great Recession. It's making progress, but it expires in 2020.
And so based on the committee's research as well as City Council, the Transit 2000 tax generated about $1 billion less in revenue than originally anticipated. So I gather the city officials are looking down the road. They say, hey, we already don't have the $1 billion we expected, plus there's more we'd like to do. So they called on this 34-member committee. So tell us about that. What were you tasked with doing?
Well, it wasn't a matter of what they'd like to do. It's really what we need to do, because everyone knows that transportation drives the economy, and you know, Phoenix alone is proposed to be, at least it's estimated to be, have a population increase of 45% by 2040. Plus the fact is that light rail has been such a huge success in terms of its encouragement for investment. There's been $7 billion worth of investment just adjacent to the light rail since its inception in 2000. So it's very clear that transportation drives the economy, and the council was visionary enough to establish the committee. We did a lot of work. We had over 100 different meetings and public hearings. We worked since August with all the data, with all the financial activities. We had a big input, if you will, session through social media and in many meetings around the city, including at every city council district, in order to get the public's input to come up with our recommendations.
What did you hear from the public? What were the big items for them?
Interestingly enough, the public was very interested in the expansion of light rail, the expansion of the bus system in terms of service, frequency of service and that kind of thing, and street improvements. We listened to them, and these recommendations that have gone to the City Council, that are going to the voters in August, are very responsive to that. Sure, it's a long-term program, and the increase in the sales tax in Phoenix is less than a penny. It's 3/4 cent. In fact, it's less than 3/4 cent. It's technically 0.7. That'll be the tax going forward. But what it will generate in terms of billions of dollars, and sounds like you know, a lot of money, but these pennies add up, and over a period of 30 years, we'll be able to build the world-class transportation system that Phoenix not only deserves, I say that as a sort of a booster, but is absolutely necessary to continue to drive the economy.
So let's be clear about the tax that we're talking about.
Yes.
So we have a current 0.4 cent tax that expires 2020.
That is correct.
So the committee would like to see what?
We'd like to see, starting in 2016, that tax be increased 0.3, that's a 0.3 cent, for a total of 0.7, and that continued through 2050.
So that's just under a penny a dollar, so about 70 cents. Then we're talking for $100. How long would this last?
This would last for 35 years.
And it's Some might think it's going to be a tough sell. We'll certainly hear about that down the road as
sure.
it gets closer. What's sort of the sales pitch when it comes to what is this money going to buy the public?
Well, I think the sales pitch, if you will, is what Phoenix residents and frankly people in the Valley understand already, even though this is a choice by Phoenix residents only. The pitch is real simple. If you believe that Phoenix is going to continue to grow, I've been here since 1953, I've lived it. Anybody who's been here in the last 10 years has lived it. And frankly, in the next 30 years, by 2040, Phoenix will grow by 45% and be over 2.2 million people. That's just Phoenix alone. So as we get moving in terms of this new growth spurt, as we get potential congestion in transportation, people understand that alternatives to the car are necessary. People may choose to still ride in their car on freeways and major streets, and we're improving and overlaying major streets. So there's a complete streets program. But in the end, there are hundreds of thousands of people that actually take the buses or light rail. Students, people who go to work, and this expands that system and drives our economy. To prove it drives our economy, as I mentioned before, the investment in construction, the investment in economic activity has led to a $7 billion number, and that's just today from 2000. We're very excited about the future.
Again, final decision will likely be up to voters in Phoenix coming up in August. The City Council's got to set that firm date, but that's what it's looking like right now. So we'll obviously hear more about this. Marty Schultz, thank you so much for your time. We greatly appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
Get the inside scoop on what's happening at Arizona PBS. Become an 8 Insider. You'll receive weekly updates on the most anticipated upcoming programs and events. Get the 8 Insider delivered to your email inbox. Visit azpbs.org to sign up today.
A new book showcases Arizona's economic history through the lens of the people who built it. It's called At Work in Arizona, the First 100 Years. The coffee table book is filled with more than 200 photos from the 1880s through today. It was commissioned by Alliance Bank with proceeds going to education groups. Here to talk about it is Phoenix photographer Marilyn Szabo, who curated the book, and the bank's president and CEO, Jim Lundy, who also served as publisher. Thanks, both of you, for coming in. I appreciate it.
Great
Jim,
to be
let's
here.
start with you since you're Mr. Publisher. Why this book?
Well, the bank's been open 12 years, and we're a commercial bank, and really opened and founded and continued on that mission to serve the businesses of Arizona, and that's our primary focus. So along with that focus, when we started the bank, we conceived of the bank art that would celebrate commerce in Arizona. And so I ended up meeting Marilyn and explained this vision to her that we wanted black and white photos, not just of old pictures of Arizona, which were always neat and people like, but that really would tell the story of commerce, you know, longitudinally from inception to the current day. And so Marilyn took on that project, and the bank has grown and done very well. We're now the 6th largest bank by deposit share in the state, and the 4th largest in Maricopa County. We got through the financial crisis in great shape. And so Marilyn came to me a few years ago and said, you know, I think this is good enough photography and tells an important enough story. We really ought to think about doing a book. And so we finally decided to do that. And so the book really captures the best of that that photography and really does attempt to string together the story of business in Arizona over 100 years.
We've got some beautiful pictures we want to get to, but before we do, let me ask, how in the world did you find them and then compile it?
Well, the photos come from everywhere. I bought a lot of photos from different photographers. I went to the historical societies all over the state. I went on eBay. I went to auctions. I went to yard sales. I found some that were thrown away at a yard sale. Wow. I went in the back and got them out of the trash. Everywhere.
Dumpster diving, huh?
Oh yeah, it's like they were sitting right on top, very neatly organized in the box, and it was amazing what was inside there. 8x10 glossies of incredible history of Arizona.
Well, let's start with taking a look. Tell me if you had a dumpster dive for this one. The book starts with Chapter 1, Foundations, and we have a shot of Theodore Roosevelt Dam.
Oh no, that came from SRP.
Okay.
Those are SRP photos.
We have that photo up there, and Jim, you may want to talk about this. I mean, something like this, what does this mean in terms of our economy, and how did this sort of set the stage and help us grow as a state?
Sure. I think as we envision the art project and the branches first and then the book, but if you think about the economy, you know, we're a commercial lender that focuses on local businesses, entrepreneurs, sometimes smaller businesses than maybe a major utility. But if you think about the economic backbone of the state, it wouldn't exist without, you know, SRP and all that it's meant, you know, both in terms of irrigation for agricultural industry and then hydroelectric power. And the same thing is true of the transportation system. So along the way, you know, Marilyn did a great job, and she shouldn't sell herself short. She found a lot of these pictures, but we always wanted the art project and the book as well to illustrate current economic activity. And Marilyn, you know, personally photographed many of the subjects in our branches and in the book. But at any rate, SRP and the Roosevelt Dam would be just one example of the kind of economic infrastructure that's been so important to the development of the state.
One of the chapters focuses on air travel and transportation. I think there's a photo you especially like in there with the Concorde.
Right.
This is at Sky Harbor, I think back in the 60s. We've got that photo.
1986.
1986. I'm sorry,
not
I was
that
thinking. I just switched the numbers a little bit.
1986.
It's gorgeous.
We, Fifth Avenue Travel in Scottsdale, which existed, chartered the plane every year in the summer, and I would make sure that I call and find out when it was coming in, et cetera, and it was at the executive airport, and the guards were very nice, and they let me, after everyone got off the plane, I could go on the tarmac.
Wow.
So goes back to my work, 1986. There are 80 photographs in the book that I took. So
that's a huge amount. I know we've got some that cover manufacturing and mining, and we've got a photo from Jerome, which I think is a railroad car, maybe. It has something to do with the mine tour. Tell us about that one.
Well, that's the mining. Talks about mining, and it's a really wonderful photo because the men standing there are so real. They're so real, and it's so dirty, and the photograph is great. We don't really know who took it, but that was another one that I got from historical
It was from the 1920s.
Collection. Yeah.
And
right.
It's a great picture of depicting, you know, copper mining in Arizona.
And you can see the houses of Jerome on the hill. And, I mean, it must not have been a very easy job.
Well, a less dirty photo, also in the manufacturing chapter, has to do with this guy who's holding a golf club.
Oh.
Tell us about this guy. Who's this?
Well, that's Karsten Solheim. And, you know, one of the main economic drivers of Arizona, and certainly tourism, but just part of our lifestyle here is golf. But not just to play it, and many people know, but many people might not know, that the Ping Golf Company was founded here, and Karsten Solheim was an engineer, I think with Motorola, and I think the story goes he invented the first Ping putter in his garage as a tinkerer and an inventor. And that led ultimately to the founding of the Ping Golf Manufacturing Company, and that's a great picture of him, probably from the 1960s, maybe early 70s.
Right. That's at Moon Valley Golf.
In Phoenix, yeah.
Right, and he also worked on the first computer banking system in Palo Alto, so he's quite full circle.
brought the golf and the computer brains here.
Oh, he was a genius.
There's a chapter that deals with architecture and construction, and there's a beautiful shot of Memorial Bridge at Hoover Dam that I had not seen until I opened up the book. And it pays tribute to former governor of Nevada, as well as Pat Tillman, former Cardinals player and U.S. Army soldier. And so that photo, I don't know if that's something that you had to track down or that was easy to get. It's really a beautiful picture.
Well, it's Jamie Stillings, and Jamie Stillings spent 6 months photographing the bridge.
About a year and a half.
A year and a half, okay, photographing the bridge. And I saw the image printed at a seminar I went to, and I went, I have to have it. So I talked to Mr. Lundy about it and finally convinced him that we needed this image. So
there's another photo that we have of Maryvale, the West Phoenix neighborhood. It's a completely different view of construction. I love this. I think this was in the 50s, and the caption in the book says that this was a time when you could get a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home with a pool for under 10 grand.
Well, this is John F. Long. So John F. Long is in Maryvale, and he's the one who started this, and that's from the John F. Long Foundation.
And John F. Long really, sort of revolutionized, that affordable housing in Arizona. And Maryvale was, where he really, built most of his houses. There's also a great picture in the book of him sort of in his prime. It's really captures that, that part of Arizona's real estate history.
We are running out of time, but quickly I want you to let folks know how and where they can get this book.
Okay. We've established a website called thenexthundredyears.org. And so all of the proceeds of the book, you can get the book for $100, and it really does tell a great economic history story. But all of the proceeds go to one of a dozen Arizona education nonprofits. And you can either go online and get the book that way, or you can go into any one of the Alliance Bank branches and acquire a book there.
Jim and Marilyn, thank you very much. It's really a gorgeous book. Thanks to both of you. In tonight's Art Beat segment, we visit with Lisa Setti. She's been a fixture in the Arizona art world for decades. As producer Shauna Fisher shows us, the Scottsdale artist is now making the biggest move of her career.
Mingling with guests at her Scottsdale gallery is bittersweet for Lisa Setti. After 29 years in the same place, she's moving on to Midtown Phoenix.
Oh, it's probably equal parts excitement and nostalgia and a little bit terrified, but I'm ready to move forward, so it's good.
Setti is well respected and well known throughout the art community, both here and abroad. In addition to her gallery, she also assists corporations in creating art collections.
You do things for your own sort of purposes and goals, and mine is to sort of keep learning and keep moving forward, and it all came about very sort of naturally and organically, so I can't say it was my goal to be here or it was my goal to be there, but it happened and it feels right. And I'm excited, so we're going to do it.
Setti says she was nervous that some of her patrons wouldn't make the drive to the new gallery, but her longtime friend Gretchen Williams says Setti is as much of a draw as the artwork.
Well, I think it's Lisa, first and foremost, and it's the work that she curates, and her reputation, her integrity, the exciting work that she shows here is unlike anything else that's shown in this area. I think people have come to expect very high quality from Lisa, and then she delivers it.
Carrie Merrill had the honor of being the last artist featured in the gallery on Marshall Way. Her exhibition, Domesticity, focuses on daily tasks as a mother and how they affect her life.
Being the last artist in the gallery at Lisa Setti is kind of monumental, especially because her gallery has been sort of this iconic place in Phoenix, not just Scottsdale, but in Phoenix. And she's a huge part of the art community, and I feel privileged to be a part of it and honored. So I'm looking forward to the new space, but I'll have fond memories definitely of this venue for sure.
Setti is now ready to create new memories in this Al Beadle designed building near 2nd Street in Thomas. She first looked at it more than a year ago when it was an office space. While she wasn't looking for a new project, the pull it had on her was undeniable.
The space is so different, and how we use the space is different too. It's much more customized to our needs, and that's probably the most fantastic part.
SETI and her architect didn't want to overstep Beadle's vision for the building, but they did have to make some major changes, including wrapping the subterranean building in a scrim-like fabric to keep out the intense Arizona sunshine. One feature they did keep was the unusual entrance Beadle created.
He basically talked about how you have to enter, climb down the stairs, enter, and then come up into the space. And he talked about leaving the mundane world behind. So you're sort of leaving everything stressful behind you and entering this very serene, kind of space.
SETI says the new gallery space dictates the type of collection she will feature. In her storage room, she has countless works of art that she can't wait to display. The first solo artist in the new gallery is Luis Gonzalez Palma. Originally from Guatemala, Palma's photographs depict the often tumultuous cycle of life and death. The exhibition is bold and unrelenting and fits perfectly in the simple space. A few months into her next chapter, and SETI is feeling more at home. She's looking forward to celebrating her 30th anniversary as a gallery owner and is reminded of why she got into the art business in the first place. The art itself.
I mean, everybody sees it differently, but I think everybody learns something from it, and that's the reason that I'm in it. This is my continuing education. It's a little bit selfish, but it's how I learn about the world.
Thank you for joining us. Ted Simons is back tomorrow. Have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.